Om Shanti sister, how are you?
Om Shanti, all
Mm,
well, everything is going well. Thank you so much.
Welcome after a long time.
Yes,
Uh,
yes,
so we are going to discuss about the serious issue.
hmm,
It's a burning issue. It's about
yes.
burning. Uh,
That
so
is the
yeah,
word burning can have both the meanings,
both
the
meaning.
actual
Yeah,
and the latest hot issue.
heart issues. Yeah. So there's a fire accident in gaming zone, which is
Hmm,
considered to be the number one gaming zone in Saurashtra, in
hmm,
Rajkot.
hmm.
So it's a huge fire accident that even the fire workers say that they have never witnessed such things before.
Hmm.
And many were trapped, and 24 were declared dead. I think it's
Ye-
maybe it's high now, and 12 of them are kids.
Yes, correct.
So, in addition to that, government has issued warning to shut down all the gaming zones in Rajkot.
Hmm.
That's because accident happens only in one place, but
Correct.
there is no reason for the government to shut down every single gaming,
Gaming
uh,
zone.
gaming zone. They might have got NOC, everything, but still they
Correct.
wanted it to be shut down because it seems it's due to the uh, some short circuit in air conditioner. So
Yes,
this happens all the time. Even if you get NOC, this might happen. We are not.
exactly.
Yeah,
Technical errors can happen and things
yeah,
can get,
mm,
anything can happen. We cannot predict. Yeah,
yeah.
these things
That's
are
the thing.
bound to happen.
Yeah, and just a week before that, one big fire accident happened in Maharashtra, I think. So these
Mhm.
things happen so frequently nowadays.
Hmm.
So what does this suggest?
It is a great indication,
Mm,
probably like a alarm for humanity to realize what direction we are heading to.
mm,
I consider that these incidents should be taken not just from a physical perspective.
mm,
Means we think about infrastructure damage or loss of human beings, loss of all the property and things like that.
mm,
I consider that that is a very superficial way of looking at these incidents,
yes.
and also taking measures. Of course, the authorities would taking measures in terms of correcting if there is any errors in malfunction in the equipment and stuff like that would
Mm,
be going on. That's a very the superficial level of structural level of taking these incidents.
mm,
But if we look at it from a larger humanity perspective, and if we look at the worldwide incidents, such things are happening, I think it's a great moment for humanity to reflect and check where are we heading to and what are we prioritizing.
mm,
And it is really a check and balance for humanity to understand, are we moving into dependency on this kind of temporary pleasures?
mm,
It has become like a how pandemic was spreading all across the world.
mm,
These temporary pleasures like gaming or any kind of activity, for example, even dependence on social media or the so-called entertainment, the
yes,
media industry, there's so much of dependence on such things and it has become almost like an addiction
yes.
next to any kind of substance abuse. Earlier, we used to
Mm,
hear about drug abuse or alcohol abuse or smoking abuse kind of things.
mm,
And these elements now have become such a big problem, especially in the younger generation. And these are bound to be addicted
yes.
because that is how it gets commercially driven.
Mm,
The people who run these centers or the way these are manufactured, the gaming stuff are built to become addicted.
yes,
That is how it works.
yes.
You kind of start working on different levels, you keep failing, so then there is a chance that you might win again, so that you keep going and going. It's like gambling.
yes,
So that kind of an addiction gets into the system, and the entire, larger part of the population is driven into this kind of an activity on a longer hours of basis on their daily life.
yes, true.
And can you imagine what kind of a damage that can happen to the humanity? And I think we have reached the peak of getting to the worst of
Mm,
humanity, of whatever
mm,
we could become worst in terms of our behavior, our attitude, our values. Everything has reached the peak of being worse.
mm,
And now, the universe has a beautiful way of bringing it back to normal. So
yes,
when it has to go to the other turn to revive and change, like how COVID-19 physically did a reset to the world in terms of population and breathing, everything became normal, and the whole greenery and the ecosystem, the forest system, the animal world, everything got a reset
mm,
because of COVID-19. In a similar way, all these accidents, we should not just be looking at from a structural perspective. We should deeply think and introspect that these are probably a hint given by the universe or by God to
yes,
tell us it's
mm,
time to pause, check, and it's going for a reset to move people. Because imagine large number of people just taken away. Within
mm,
few seconds, we have 24 deaths, and
yes,
such multiple incidents happening in large numbers being taken away. It's a hint given by the universe or God, whatever
God,
we have faith in,
mm,
is indicating to us that we need to reset, we need to pause and think whether this is the right direction. Are we doing it right? Or do we have another method to lead a life?
yes, that's very
I,
true.
I think I think
That,
that
mm,
is a big message that the universe is giving, and we should not just stop in doing the repair work and getting back. I'm glad to know to certain extent. I know the world may not like it, younger generation may not like it, that all the other gaming zones were shut down and stopped.
yes,
So there would be a huge hue and cry. Why this is a extreme measure? There's no such requirement. This is a fluke
yes,
accident. Accidents happen. People die. There will be people who always raise such concerns. But
yes,
if we look at it,
mm,
is this the way our life has to go? Is this the way we want our kids to lead their life? Is this what is required? And it's a preparation for future to show that these elements will no longer be available. The dependence on these elements may not be available any longer. And when the world gets into the reset, we all thought that how could we survive without having a transport? And for
mm,
over 2 years, flights did not fly. And
yeah,
if anybody told human beings that 4 years earlier, they said, you will have 2 year period of no flight zone in the world, they think you're crazy.
yes,
Nobody would have believed, but we survived, we lived without having any aircrafts moving around.
mm,
In the same way, we would, there is a possibility we would reach a phase where all these temporary pleasures of gaming or dependence on internet, it might sound extreme, even possibly electricity
mm,
may not be available for the way we
yeah,
are experiencing right now, because
mm,
everything is dependent on electricity right now, our entire life. So we need to get prepared ourselves as human beings to get back to nature, to natural form of living as much as possible.
yes,
That's the indication, that's a message, that's a lesson probably we need to think.
mm,
And going back to nature is something very, very critical.
that's very nice, sister. And also, uh, it's a warning by God, as you said, that there is something seriously wrong. And by children getting addicted to these gaming features, it's a signal that they are born addicted. Their soul power is such that they need something to stimulate continuously. or else
Absolutely.
they can't stay active. So
Exactly.
that's the condition. Now it might be just a gaming addiction, but as he grows older, he will get addicted to substance, lust, and whatever that makes this world worse.
Absolutely,
Yes,
absolutely. We can see
yes,
that several such
yes,
examples are there of
mm,
younger generation, younger kids being
mm,
always on gaming on mobile are the ones who grow up and
yes,
show the signs of having all these kinds of addictions. And
mm,
if you study the history of rapists in the world, or
yes,
study the history of even people who abuse
yes,
women, or the physical abuse of other women, they are the kind of people who have had a childhood of
mm,
coming up with being too much devotion into all these kind of activities,
yes,
completely addicted to these kind of activities, leads
mm,
them to grow into that kind of it's a vicious world. It's going
yes,
to take them to a situation where they themselves can't come back,
yes,
so they're
that's
getting
true.
trapped into this.
That's true. In America, several shooting incidents happen mainly because of this gaming addiction. Because
Exactly.
most of the games are designed to shoot and kill, it's
Exactly.
in some way stimulate their devilish behavior.
Exactly,
That's
exactly.
the thing.
And they do, another shocking incidents that has happened in the US is young kids of very young age having access to the guns,
Gun.
and then they go and shoot, and
Yes.
after the incident they don't even have regret or guilt.
Yes. And
Can
reach.
we
Mm,
a world
mm,
where a child goes and kills his other students or a teacher or anybody, and after the incidents he doesn't feel guilty about it, he doesn't
mm,
feel that he did anything wrong, that because he's been playing these games, and when he shoots something, that's a victory for him.
yes. He doesn't
So he
bother
doesn't
about.
realize that he's killing
Mm,
another human being, and that's a
mm.
huge problem.
Yeah.
It's a
No.
murder.
So
And for he
to
doesn't know that.
yeah, to get that
He's
adrenaline rush,
mm,
when he is cut off from these physical gamings, he will do whatever it takes to prove that he is a hero. That gives
exactly,
him the adrenaline rush. And
exactly.
recently in India, uh, one child killed another. He just uh, pushed him, thinking that he
Mm,
will come back. He didn't know that he would die because of his addiction to cartoon movies. Because in
correct.
cartoon it shows like that, in
Exactly,
Tom and Jerry. So he thinks he will
exactly,
come back.
exactly.
So we never would have imagined that this
Mm,
would have created this much impact in kids.
absolutely. And we are
Yes,
feeding them wrong content.
yes,
All the entire content that's available on the media right now,
yes,
whether it's cartoons or gaming or even any kind of entertainment,
yes,
is all abusive content, negative content,
yes,
and all criminal oriented content.
yes.
And that is creating huge psychological problems in all these children, unfortunately.
Correct. There is one famous cartoon called Shinchan. So he
Okay.
always plays fun of his parents. So
Mm,
people are kids are huge fan of that particular cartoon series. So obviously
mm.
they will imitate that with their parents.
Exactly.
So that will show how they will be when they grow old.
Absolutely, absolutely. And
Yes.
also, see, that creates a foundation. Like
Mm,
respect to parents is one of the foundational values on which multiple other values will build up.
yes.
So, if they don't respect the parents and if they make fun of the parents, then it'll have an effect or ripple effect of not having any other values as well.
Yes.
So
That's
they
true.
land up being a burden on the society in terms of being the worst human beings.
That's true.
So it causes so much damage that we can't even measure it, that kind
Yes.
of a damage it creates. So it's really alarming that I think we all need to think about it seriously and reform things in terms of bringing a lot of reforms in terms of what exactly we are giving the content to the children.
And another thing is people are uh, so much focused on getting pleasure from outside,
Yes,
because they no longer feel that it is within them. Even spiritual gurus who promises that pleasure is within them, even they don't know how to teach that. They don't know the method, because
exactly.
yeah,
Technique.
it is only God, the image of whom is behind you as a point of light. So he enters an old man's body and he says the very true nature of you itself is blissfulness and
Absolutely.
peacefulness.
Absolutely.
It is not only kids who is addicted to external things,
Yes,
even adults are like that.
correct.
So that's why.
Even the problem, yes, the problem is people don't know the difference between being lonely and solitude.
Yes.
See, being lonely is very different from solitude, and solitude is very much required for us
Yes.
as human beings, and we need to spend at least few minutes every day to go within.
Yes.
And the major problem with the world right now is a wrong identity.
Yes.
None of us in any of the teachings, whether it's academics or even the spiritual teaching, unfortunately do not give the exact identity of ourselves first.
That's true.
If I don't know myself, I cannot connect to my source also.
Yes.
So I might be an Android phone, but I think that I'm an iPhone.
Yes.
And then it's just the external appearances, everything related to my appearance, or my position, my degree, or my relationships, or what nationality, everything else is surrounded by it. And we think that that's the ultimate reality in the world, and we are going by it. So this is a foundation. If we do not even recognize who we are, what am I made of, or what is my real identity, that is when we can recognize that who is my real source, and where can I get the real power and strength. That knowledge is not there in any of the teachings that's available in the world. And that's where I deeply get connected here, because I recognize my own true identity and my own true self. What am I? It's all peacefulness is already there, happiness is already there, purity is already there. All these elements we are looking outside.
Yes.
We don't even know it's my real original identity. So once I recognize that, then there's no looking for outside, but to get the power to connect to my real source. Who is my real creator? Who is my real father? Connecting that will give us, that's when you build the right relationship. Once we do that, in fact, the funny part is people go around all this worldly relationship, worldly achievements. I have this particular car or that particular house, and this position, seven-figure degree, salary and stuff like that. But the funny part is, if we don't have this kind of self-realization and the realization of my real creator, once we do that, the strange part is all the external stuff of whatever we want to achieve becomes much easier.
Yes.
So the inward journey is so important. Going into that solitude is so important. Everybody says, oh, we are lonely, the world is becoming lonely, people are so lonely, they're always in social media looking for these likes and comments and everything. People live in the virtual world.
Yes.
That's where they're getting trapped, and so that's the lonely part of it that's affecting the world as a psychological problem. But from that, what is known as lonely, we need to shift and come to a situation of solitude and sit in solitude. And this is a technique we need to learn, where we are taught in this place to learn in this organization in Raja Yoga. That's what we learn on how I can enjoy my solitude. I don't need external stimulus. Everything is available. I don't even need a piece of chocolate for me to feel that pleasure of taste.
mm.
I have that capability within myself. Beyond my sense organs, I can feel the pleasure. That's the technique we need to learn from Raj Yoga, and then understand my real self, and then connect to my creator. That process, I think, is very critically important for the world right now.
Actually, there's a place in Tamil Nadu uh, called Meivazhichaalai. So where
Mm-hmm.
there is no electricity, no television, no mobile phone, nothing. So people
Okay.
love that place. People go there.
Wow.
They want to live there because they want to uh, free their
Cut
mind,
off.
cleanse their
Cut off
mind.
from everything.
Yeah.
Mm.
So I think there is another place in Karnataka or Andhra. There is one place where uh, they only study Vedas. They do
Mm.
farming. They are no longer connected to this modern society, and they
Mm.
feel peaceful. And
Exactly. There's
and
one town in Karnataka.
yeah,
They, in fact, everybody in that place speaks Sanskrit as their
wow, yeah,
day-to-day language. And
super.
they don't read newspapers, they don't have
Mm,
television channels. They
yeah,
live in a
yeah,
very peaceful environment.
yeah.
And
Big,
people now love to visit those places, and we are trying
mm,
to find momentary pleasures in those elements.
mm.
And we forget, we don't even have the knowledge that that was our real self. That's the way
Yeah, we
we
need not
live.
go anywhere to feel that.
Exactly, wherever you
It's
are. And
already
in that,
where it's already who we are.
exactly,
Yes.
exactly. Is
Mm,
just remove all those external unwanted layers, so
mm,
you'll know the real self of who you are within ourselves. And
mm,
once we realize that, whatever chaos is happening outside, it will not affect.
yes.
Everything else that's happening outside, it will not affect, and we'll be so happy within ourselves, peaceful within ourselves, content within ourselves. Then that is how these addictions can be eliminated. We can bring these children out of these addictions that they are getting into when
Mm.
we give them this route of how can they be happy within themselves.
Actually, it is because of the parents' laziness that kids get addicted to these things. Because they
Exactly.
don't want to allot time to kids, spend time with kids. So they just give them the mobile phones. Kids don't ask for
Exactly.
that in the first place. Even if
Not
the
at all.
television is on, they wouldn't bother to watch it.
True.
Kids, they are very intelligent to make anything playful that's available around them. If you keep
Exactly.
them on the sand, they will build a house out of it without
Exactly.
anybody teaching them.
Exactly. That is how
Yeah,
creative
yeah,
minds were there for children. But
yes,
unfortunately, I can see like one of my neighbor's kids I saw, not even 1 year old,
mm,
because the mother is so busy, working mother, and then coming back home and not enough time to do everything else. So she says, I can't give enough time to him, so I'll just put him on iPad, some
mm,
cartoons or something to watch, YouTube channels
that's
to
the thing.
watch,
Mm,
so that she can finish her work. But this is causing so much damage, on the contrary, to the child's mind,
yeah.
that we don't even realize. So we keep chasing external achievements. Imagine we become extremely successful, earn more money, or do whatever we want at the cost of the actual growth of the child.
So that's what
Then
happened to the parents of
yes, this
those who
generation.
lost their kids in gaming zone. Even
Yes.
if they didn't experience this pain now, they will
Mm,
surely experience it later in their life. So that
very
will
true.
be huger compared to this.
Absolutely. It's
Yes,
much bigger
yeah,
pain.
that's the thing.
Absolutely.
Mm.
Mm. That is
So
something should be seriously looked at.
that's the thing.
Mm.
So we are responsible for corrupting our kids' mind. Uh,
Correct.
Kids are not going to say, "Don't take me to the Brahmakumari center." Of course, it will say when it grows old, but you
Mm.
don't take them when they were kids. But when they are studying 12th standard, then you say they are not interested. But whose fault is it?
Exactly. Exactly.
That's the thing.
Right from childhood, if we
Yeah.
take them and make them see, they may not understand what is being taught there. At least
Mm.
the words fall into their ears. At least
Yes.
they see the behavior of the people. the
yes,
lifestyle, the vibrations. So one thing we should not ignore is it's not just the words or the visuals. These content that we see either on all these media, it is also giving them the absorbing the wrong vibrations,
sure.
and that is causing lot
Mm,
of problems in their aura and their entire physical system as well. So
yes,
we if we go take them to the Brahma Kumari center, and the vibrations that they absorb within themselves definitely transforms them. They don't have
mm,
to sit in a class to listen to the teachings. The being in that environment itself makes children much more, what we call it as satvik, what we, they become much more going into the very value based lifestyle.
yeah. Kids no longer want to spend time talking with each other. They just
Mm,
want to act
yes,
like a
very
hero. They always want this adrenaline rush. Only nowadays,
exactly,
kids are always complaining that they feel bored. We never complained while we were kids. We didn't have
absolutely,
internet. We didn't have even television. We were happy
exactly,
all the time. All we need is
exactly.
we don't want school. That's it. That's more than enough for us to keep happy.
Exactly, exactly. And we
Yeah,
always played outside. We were always
yeah,
outdoor, playing
mm,
around, climbing trees, or
yeah,
whatever we got, we used to play around. If
mm,
there is a pond, we will jump into it and play, or whatever is
yeah.
available within in the nature. We used to play with it, and now kids are in more often indoors, more often engaged in this kind of a fighting mode of gaming, which is
And also we
we
can't fully blame parents because while we were kids, we are free to roam around any house in our street. But now it's not the case because the people's mind are so corrupt. There is no
exactly.
safety for kids anymore.
Absolutely.
That's another
The
reason.
unfortunate incident is the
Mm,
cities right now with huge apartment blocks have come up, and
mm,
also a lot of migration has happened within the country itself. So
mm,
in one apartment you will see people from different states living in the same place, but
oh.
they still don't know each other. Who is in the neighbor, we don't know. In
But
that kind
that's
of
yeah, but it's a nice way to know each other's culture and language.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah,
It actually it could have been used in a much better way,
that's a way.
but because of so much of corrupted minds,
Yes,
people don't feel safe any longer to
that's true.
send the kids outside to play
That's true.
outside.
Yes.
So the safety concerns is something really big.
Yeah. And also
Mm,
another thing is, as Shivani Didi says, mobile phone can be used in a positive way because,
absolutely.
yeah, it's the greatest teacher. But
Exactly.
we should be beside kids to see what he's actually watching, whether it's
Exactly.
just entertainment or educational ones too. Because
Exactly.
in our home, kids are speaking like a PhD scholar. He's just studying fifth standard. But we are wondering where he got everything from. He's saying from YouTube.
Correct.
Then I have no words to
Exactly.
cut him off.
Exactly.
Yeah,
The very example, for example, now we are recording on a Facebook
yeah,
messenger. So
yes,
we are utilizing this technology for the
sure.
best of its availability.
Yeah, or else it's impossible. This kind
Yeah,
of era we can't imagine.
exactly. So
Mm,
this is a very good way of utilizing the Facebook Messenger.
correct.
But imagine there are hundreds and thousands of people
Mm,
engaging in Facebook communication for all wrong things,
yes,
utilizing for all unwanted things,
correct.
which is damaging their life.
Yes,
So any technology for that matter can be used. It's like a knife can be used to kill someone, or the same knife is used by a doctor to operate a patient to remove a tumor
yeah.
and save his life. So the same knife can save somebody's life or
Mm,
kill and
mm,
take out the life of someone. So
mm,
it depends on us how we use the technology, and
mm,
monitoring and supervision for the children is very important so that they engage in using. There are several examples of children also becoming doing some amazing research in technology in a younger age, coming
Mm.
up with some fantastic apps which
Yes.
can change the, help a lot of people. That kind of things are also there. So
Yes.
we need to give credit to such parents who are making those kids move into using the mobile phone or that kind of technology into a positive way. But lot of incidents when we see of kids being driven into negative way is something that we need to really have a check and have a balance on it.
Yes. And one thing one should bear in mind is the actual difference between happiness and becoming unconscious because of external pleasure. That's not
Correct.
happiness. That's intoxication, or is there any other word for it, sister?
Actually, the
Like,
word pleasure, the word pleasure
okay,
is also a wrong negative connotation.
oh,
If you look
uh,
at the word pleasure,
mm,
everybody says, oh, it gives me pleasure, what's your
yes,
problem, let me
yes,
use it.
yes,
It's a very wrong connotation. Pleasure is not good for us. We
mm,
should not be getting, pleasure is addictive, and
yeah,
pleasure is not something we require. So people consider pleasure to be happiness.
mm,
You have a pizza today and you think that that gives you happiness. It's not giving you happiness, it's giving you pleasure at that point of time, but the same thing has so,
and you can't sustain it for longer period of time.
it's
Test
temporary.
Test buds get resistant within few minutes.
Few minutes, that's
Yeah,
all.
yes,
Any kind of pleasure, if we look
mm,
at it, is not happiness, but people are confused between the two. It's
yes,
not the same. So anything that gives you physical pleasure, sensory pleasures,
sensory
is
pleasure.
not happiness at all.
Super, super, super. So that's the true
Absolutely not.
definition.
Yes,
Anything that you feel through senses is
yes,
addictive.
absolutely,
Is addictive,
absolutely. Yes,
and it's very temporary. It's
correct.
addictive as well as temporary. And
Temporary,
yeah,
exactly.
that's the thing. So the main reason
No,
it's temporary is if you allow it. Mm,
neurologically,
mm,
because it is temporary, you
mm,
need it again and again
again and again.
because you want it to prolong it longer.
And also
If it's
our
permanent,
also our body is designed in such a way you can't derive happiness continuously from that because it's
yes.
not good for your health.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Yes,
there is enough
that's the thing.
evidences in the science,
Yeah.
enough evidences in the science to prove, and the
Mm,
whole world proves in terms of dietary restrictions now,
mm,
or anything, all the diseases that we see coming up across both physical and mental disorders,
yes.
everything boils down to how we relate ourselves to these pleasures,
And what's
leads to
your
all these elements.
and what's your opinion about people saying that we are using within limit? Whether it's drinking, drinking within limit. Whether it's gaming, gaming within limit.
That is
Mm,
actually an excuse
mm,
to say that I am doing the right thing, is a
yes.
justification.
Yes.
It's giving like a justification.
Mm,
It's like having a slow poison. If is even one drop of poison safe for us, it may not kill you today,
yes.
but that
It will
one, if I
faster.
take like 10 ml of poison, might kill me instantly. So
Mm,
I agree that one
mm,
is a person is not consuming too much within limits, but
yes.
that within limit is also poison.
Yes.
So that within limits accumulated over a period of time becomes that amount of poison which can kill us.
And they
So
actually extend the limit.
yes,
When you ask household wives how long you watch television, not much. Okay, how much? Just four serials, sometimes songs. So they think it is their limit.
exactly, exactly. See,
That's the
because
thing.
those are all
Mm,
justifications given by us because of our own behavior. We
yes,
don't realize that we are doing all those wrong things for ourselves.
that's the thing. So I think
Mm,
we have sent enough caution for the youngsters and parents. Let's.
absolutely.
It's up to them to choose whether the right path that we have shown in this video. or to
Yes.
continue with what they are doing already. Thank you so
Yeah.
much for your time, sis.
I really
Okay,
hope everybody at
mm,
least sits down for a moment and reflects on this subject that we tried to share today.
that's the thing. That's the thing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Instead of deriving the short-term pleasure, why can't you do something that is fruitful and derive pleasure from that?
Yes, yes.
You
And
can do
and
it.
permanent,
Yeah,
long term.
permanent.
It's
Yeah,
lifelong, long term, permanent.
yes,
And sustainable. The whole world is
yes,
talking about sustainability. This is sustainable. It can stay
yes,
with you. You don't
mm,
need anything external factor.
yes.
And whatever happens,
Yeah, that
earthquakes,
you are speaking about spirituality. I'm not even speaking about spirituality.
hmm,
Instead of deriving pleasure from gaming, why can't you
yes,
let your child draw something or do
yes,
something
yes,
creatively? Even that's going to give him pleasure. It's not going
surely,
to corrupt his mind. He's not
surely,
going to get addicted to that adrenaline rush.
exactly,
That's the
exactly,
thing. The,
absolutely.
yeah. You,
That gives them a much more creative mind.
mm,
And learning an instrument, for example, a
mm,
flute or a tabla or whatever,
yes,
those are the activities that we need to engage our children, which takes them out of all this addictive behavior.
yes. While I was studying at college, I used to travel more than 100 kilometers to
Mm,
Chennai uh, to get excellent books from British Library.
okay,
But now it's in your hand.
everything is
You
available.
need not read. It will read it for you. You
Exactly,
can see the visuals. Everything
exactly,
is available. just
available.
just spend some time and you can guide your child that these things are available.
Yes,
Spend as much time as you want doing research on these things. Then
correct.
as a relaxation you can spend 5 minutes doing whatever you
Yes,
want. So that is just
absolutely.
to relax. But people,
Correct,
kids nowadays, it's like gaming is their full time. Only when they
correct.
get so tired to relax, they take book and they feel
Yes,
asleep. This is what happens everywhere.
exactly. That's a sad
Mm.
part of it. True, true,
Yeah,
absolutely true.
and
Mm,
also we see in YouTube, it is business. So whenever we open YouTube, we see people dancing. So everybody
mm,
starts dancing.
correct,
So they don't
correct.
know the business intention behind that.
Exactly, exactly. This it's all
Yeah.
commercially driven.
Yeah,
It's all business oriented.
bad things appear before you without you making any effort for it. For good
Correct.
things, you need to go for it.
Make an effort.
You need to
Exactly.
make an effort for it.
Absolutely.
So
Very true.
for that you need the discipline of your mind,
Correct.
which is possible only through Rajog meditation.
Very true.
So
Very
all
true.
we need to do is to consider ourselves to be
Mm,
this imperishable point of light called
correct.
soul that lies between our forehead, which is why we apply tilak here. Then
Correct.
we have to connect our mind to the supreme soul that is behind our sister. So
Mm,
he is also a point of light
absolutely correct.
here.
Correct.
Uh, so he is a soul just like us. We, before
Correct.
taking birth on earth, we resided along with God there. So
Correct.
when we first took birth, this world was heaven for the first 2500 years. Then it
Mm,
becomes hell
hell.
because we become body conscious. As long as
Correct.
we were soul conscious, it was heaven. So
Mm,
everything God blessed us with, it was there. It was just giving nothing but pleasure. But
true.
after that, we become addicted to sensual pleasure because we no longer consider ourselves to be souls. We
Correct.
consider ourselves
Got
to be these bodies. So
body.
we need some kind of happiness. We don't
Correct.
bother whether it's about its negative or side effect.
Correct. We
So
started feeding
yeah,
the body's requirements.
yeah,
That
that's the
became
thing.
a
So
problem.
yeah, basically it boils down to satisfying our senses, which is
Correct.
not good.
Absolutely.
That's the
Absolutely.
thing. In heaven,
Mm,
everybody was beautiful, both men and women.
Correct.
but we were not addicted to their beauties. So
Absolutely.
the
Yeah.
fruits of the heaven, they will be thousand times tastier than what we have now. But we were
Correct.
not addicted to that taste. We know
There
it's
was
tasty,
abundance of availability of everything.
everything.
Flowers,
Yeah,
the fragrance of flowers was so beautiful there.
yeah, that's
Everything was available,
yeah,
but nobody, had any addictive behavior towards anything there.
addiction towards it. That's true. The main reason is they were not
Soul conscious.
extroverted. They were
Yes.
introverted.
Yes.
They unconsciously know that they were souls. Nobody
Correct.
was there to teach them in heaven, but by
Exactly.
birth they know they are souls. And they
Correct.
interact with
Naturally.
each other considering them as souls, not as
Correct.
this body.
Not
So,
at all.
so their love for others are equal, irrespective of their
Correct.
status,
Yes.
beauty, because they
Yes.
see only the souls.
Only the soul.
That
Exactly.
that's why it was heaven for the first
Correct.
2500 years. Once you
Correct.
become body conscious, you start seeing the difference externally, you behave
Correct.
accordingly, and you start committing sins, because of
Correct.
which our soul becomes more and more weak, because of
Weak. Yeah.
which we get so much addicted. We
Absolutely.
cannot stay without any addiction for more than 1 hour. If we have
Correct.
no electricity, then you will know the true state of our
Exactly.
kids. They will go
Exactly.
crazy.
True. True.
That's the
They will
thing.
have really,
Yeah.
big problems. That is a level it's reaching right now.
Yeah. In COVID-19, some people in Tamil Nadu and Pondicherry, they consumed paint because they can't stay without alcohol.
My God.
They
Paint.
died. Yeah, they died because I don't know why they drink that. They need something. They went crazy. So
Mm.
don't underestimate other addictions.
Correct.
They are equally addictive,
Yeah. Very
equally
true. Very.
dangerous.
Yes. It's
That's
fatal.
the thing.
It's taken their life. So it's so dangerous.
Yeah.
True.
Why can't you stay blissful forever instead of
Exactly.
enjoying temporary happiness?
Correct.
So
Without
all,
any need to depend on any
yeah,
product. Yeah.
because God says
Mm.
the true nature of our soul itself is blissfulness. So as
Yes.
long as your concentration is in your soul, you will
Correct.
experience it continuously.
Yes. Correct.
So as long as you derive pleasure from within, your
Mm.
mind and intellect will work 100%. But once you
Absolutely.
get addicted to external pleasures, the effectiveness of your mind and intellect decreases, weakens.
Yes.
So
Yes.
now it has reached the level that it can no longer work without consuming anything addictive.
Correct. It's got completely corrupted.
Yeah,
Totally corrupted. Yeah. So
even kids who study well at school, as soon as
mm,
they reach home, they say they charge themselves with playing games in mobile phone. So
correct.
they need something addictive. So this
Exactly.
addiction, while they grow old, will go to dangerous addictions.
Exactly.
Then that would
Exactly.
be too late.
True. Absolutely true.
Yeah, this is
Correct.
the dangerous sign, parents. Please
Mm.
act now or it would be never.
Yes. It can
Okay.
be really too late then to take action.
Yes. Thank you
Mm.
so much, sister. Thank you,
Thank you
everybody.
for the
Uh,
opportunity.
okay. Thank you.